Hi, it's Debbie Williams here. I'm an NLP trainer and hypnotherapist, and today I want to talk about what you can do to overcome pain. Now, my free recording, Spontaneous Remission from Any Disease in Mind and Body, will definitely help you to overcome some of the pain and release some of the stress and tension which adds to physical pain. I've had a couple of emails this week about different symptoms that people have, and one of the things that I would suggest is, as you listen to the recording, then just imagine what is the opposite to your pain. So if, for example, it's like electricity firing off the nerves and you can feel like this shooting pain through your body or through your leg or what have you, then imagine what it would be like if you had the electricians in and that they surrounded it by this thick grey cable. And through doing that, it protects you from the electricity and the sensation. Also, second thing you can do, if part of your body is damaged so that you've been told that, oh, this is what's happened on the inside and the scar tissue or something like that, then imagine going into that part of your body and, let's identify if it had a colour, what's the first colour that comes to mind? If it had a texture, if it had a shape, and if it had a sound. And what we're doing is we're identifying to the body, this is the metaphor of what your body is doing in the diseased place. And now let's go into a part of your body that feels absolutely comfortable. So, maybe even just your little finger, if it had a colour, what's the first colour that comes to mind? If it had a texture, what's that? If it had a sound, if it had a shape. And notice that those are going to be different than the diseased part. And what you can do is, whilst you're listening to my free recording, the Spontaneous Remission from Any Disease in Mind or Body, that doesn't promise anything, but it has had some miraculous recoveries linked to it. Whilst you're listening to that, then imagine washing through the colour that represents health, the sound that represents health, the texture, the shape, of sending that to the diseased part. Or if it's something specific that, there's the myelin sheaths surrounding sort of different sort of tendons or any damage there, just imagine what would it be like if it was healed, that it's all smoothed over, that it's healthy tissue, and send that intention to your body to, see that do this, and to imagine what would it be like to smooth out. See, with hypnosis, we've convinced people that with their eyes closed that they're going to be touched with a red hot poker and it's actually been ice, and vice versa. So our mind can be fooled. And by using sort of hypnosis and the free recording, if you drift off into your own world as you're listening to my suggestions, if a miracle was to happen, what would it look like? What would it sound like? How would it feel? Then along the way of listening to that, then you have the opportunity of going into your own specific dis-ease and identifying how the dis-ease represents itself to you. Maybe writing this down before you go into the trance, and then writing down what is the opposite. If it's a stabbing pain, imagine sort of that you've got cushions there to literally soften the blow. What is the opposite of what you're experiencing at the moment, or what is the representation of health? And don't buy into the medical profession of this could not be reversed or anything like that, because they're not God. They don't know. There have been cases of spontaneous remission where people miraculously get better and things get healed. There's been tons and tons of studies on placebos where they've given people operations and they've not actually performed the operation, yet people spontaneously healed because they were told by the doctor, oh yes, we're going to cut this so that will stop those signals travelling and so you won't feel any more pain. And miraculously that's what happens. And they've done studies where they've gone in and not actually done anything. In fact, this happened with my granddad. They cut him open. He was so riddled with cancer that they didn't do anything. But it was in the time where they didn't tell the patient, oh, well, that's it. You've got, 6 weeks to live. Make your plans. They didn't tell him anything. They said, we've done what we can. You can go home. So he took it that, oh, I'm mended. and they called him back 6 months later to see why he wasn't dead, and his body had actually gone ahead and shrunk down all the cancer and shrunk down the ones where it had metastasized to other places, because he was literally riddled with it, and they couldn't understand how this happened. But that's the power of belief. He believed the doctors had healed him, and so his body had gone ahead and do that. So there's a lot of stuff that we can do with hypnosis. Plus, if after a time you've been listening to that recording and it gets a bit boring because you're predicting what I'm going to say, there's lots of other healing recordings on my website. There's the other freebie, Stop Worrying, Create a Wonderful Life. There's also Heal the Heavy Heart, which lifts the weight of the world off the shoulders. A lot of clients have used that for healing and had great results. Also Heal the Inner Child, More Self-Esteem, Ultimate Confidence. That trance there has... I originally wrote it for working in the miracle zone, because what it does is planting suggestions of being the right place, the right time, right synchronicity to happen where the miraculous occurs. But my business partner in London, in Harley Street, said, that won't sell on our website, Debbie, it sounds a bit too woo-woo. And I'm thinking, damn, I want to do this, I want to record this for me. And doing it in the studio, it costs so much to record and get it edited, so I've got to do something that I think that I can sell, although half the time I've done stuff that I think is just what's right for people. And the great thing with videos means I can do stuff very, very quickly. So I thought, okay, well, what could I call it? What does it do for you? And I thought, well, it gives you ultimate self-belief and confidence in yourself. And I thought, oh, confidence, that'll sell. And self-belief, if you've got build up self-belief in yourself that, yeah, I can heal myself, because your body created itself from our creator, God, whatever you want to believe in. It did it without man's intervention, and it's been doing it for, thousands upon thousands of years. It knows how to heal. Cut yourself 50 times, it will heal all of those cuts simultaneously. It knows what to do. Sometimes we've got to get out of our own way. Also, please look at sort of maybe changing some of the diet that you eat, and by asking the question, what must I learn to move on, it will help your brain to be in the right place, the right time, to find the right solutions for you. See, if we look at our diet less than 100 years ago, about 150 years ago, the cancer rate was 1 in 200, and heart disease hadn't even been recorded. The first case in the UK was 1912. And basically what's happened over the last 150 years is we've swapped a plant-based diet for a meat-based diet. And if we look at who we relate to genetically, we're much more akin to vegetarians and plant eaters than we are meat eaters. That's not to say we can't eat meat, because 200 years ago we did, but it was once a week, and we boiled the bones up of it and we made it last, and that was enough for our system, with all the greenery and vegetation, whisked it through our long intestines, which are the same kind of intestines as a herbivore or an omnivore, so that it gets through and out without causing any damage. Whereas if we look at a natural carnivore, their intestines are quite short, because when meat is in the system it starts to putrefy after a period of time. It also, people on a high protein diet, every country in the world that has a high protein diet also has a high rate of osteoporosis, and even those who have high dairy intake, and the reason being is there's also protein in dairy, and calcium's job in the body is to neutralise acid, so it gets leached out of the bones to neutralise the acid produced by excess protein. So please look for your own sort of journey on maybe changing some dietary food stuff so that you're eating more near the plant-based kingdom. I'm going to be doing some more recording of how to enjoy fruits and vegetables, which will be like advertising to your brain that if you don't like them now, by the time I've hypnotised you, you'll want to eat them. And this is stuff I've done with clients one-to-one over the years many, many times, and so that will be coming out in the future. When I've done it, I'll add that as a link below. Anyway, it's great talking to you today. Bye now.